Is the reflection in the mirror starting to feel like a stranger? Not the man you are on the inside, the one with decades of wisdom, love, and fight in him, but the man whose body seems to have forgotten the script. If the fire in your spirit is still burning bright but your body is no longer listening, I want you to know you are in exactly the right place. Welcome to Golden Vitality. I'm Dr. Rechard, and for more than 30 years, I've had the profound privilege of helping men navigate the currents of life after 60. If what I just said resonates with you, do me a favor right now and tap that subscribe button. Join our community, because today, we are not just going to talk about the challenges. We are going to start building the solutions together. If your energy feels like a slowly draining battery, if the thought of intimacy has become a source of anxiety, not because the desire has vanished, but because your physical response feels uncertain, then I ask for a few moments of your time. What if I told you that this frustrating decline may not simply be the inevitable toll of aging? What if it's a direct and fixable consequence of a deficiency in 3 specific, powerful nutrients that your body is silently trying to tell you it needs? Many men who come to see me aren't lacking passion. They are lacking circulation. They are lacking stamina. And they are lacking the fundamental hormonal support that underpins masculine vitality. In so many of these cases, the path to renewal doesn't begin with a prescription pad. It begins in your kitchen and with your daily habits. Today, I am going to show you precisely which 3 vitamins every man over 60 should understand and incorporate into his life. We'll explore how they can help restore natural, healthy erections, support your body's own testosterone production, and bring that vibrant energy back into your days. Please, stay with me, because a little later, I will also reveal the single, most dangerous mistake I see men make when trying to address these issues. A mistake that can render all their efforts useless. And I'll show you how to avoid it, starting this very evening. Let's begin with the first and perhaps most profoundly overlooked key to unlocking blood flow and restoring natural performance in men over 60. It's a nutrient your body was designed to produce with effortless grace, especially during time spent in the open air. But as the years pass, our levels often plummet, and with them go our circulation, our energy, and our physical confidence. I'm speaking of vitamin D. It's often called the sunshine vitamin, but for you, it may very well be the spark plug needed to get your engine firing on all cylinders again. Let me explain why. I still remember a gentleman named Arthur, a 68-year-old retired history professor. He was a man with a brilliant mind and a deep love for his wife, but his eyes held a shadow of deep frustration. "Doc," he confessed, his voice quiet, "I still feel that old affection, that desire to be close to my partner. But my body has become a stranger to my intentions. It just won't cooperate." That heartfelt admission is a story I have heard in 1,000 different forms from 1,000 good men. And more often than not, the first step on the road back to that physical harmony isn't a miracle pill, but the humble vitamin D. It is one of the most critically underestimated nutrients in the entire landscape of men's health after 60. We've been conditioned to think of it primarily for bone health, something for children. But in reality, vitamin D is a master regulator of male performance. It acts like a key in a lock, signaling the delicate lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, to relax and open up. This allows for a surge of oxygen-rich blood to flow freely throughout your body, including, crucially, to the very areas that define your masculine function. Without sufficient vitamin D, that entire process is handicapped. Circulation becomes sluggish, your energy levels dip, and intimacy becomes a far more difficult and stressful event than it ever needs to be. It's a stark fact that over 40% of older adults are clinically deficient in vitamin D. I'm talking about honorable men. Men who try to eat well, who stay active, and yet still find themselves plagued by that nagging question. Why don't I feel like myself anymore? When your vitamin D levels are low, your body's production of a vital molecule called nitric oxide decreases significantly. Nitric oxide is the signaling agent essential for achieving and maintaining healthy blood flow, which is the absolute cornerstone of erectile function. But this isn't just about sexual health. It's about overall vitality, mental clarity, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your body is on your side. The wonderful news is that correcting a deficiency is not an insurmountable task. Just 15 to 20 minutes of direct morning sunlight on your skin without sunscreen can work wonders. Incorporating foods like wild-caught salmon, mackerel, tuna, or fortified dairy products can help. And for most men over 60, supplementing with a high-quality vitamin D3 is the most reliable way to radically shift how your body performs. I've seen men like Arthur, who felt their world was shrinking, come back to my office feeling re-energized, reconnected, and ready to engage with life and their partners again. This isn't wishful thinking. It's fundamental human biochemistry, and it's one of the most direct and simplest ways to reclaim your strength. But as potent as vitamin D is in opening the floodgates of circulation, it can only do so much on its own. Because even if your blood is ready to flow, your body still needs the raw fuel to power that system, to sustain it, and to turn that potential into tangible action. That is precisely where our second vitamin comes in. And if you've ever felt that bone-deep weariness for no discernible reason, it might just be the key to unlocking the energy reserves you thought were gone for good. Let's talk about that now. A few years ago, a patient I'll call David came to see me. He was 71, a retired architect who had spent his life designing magnificent, sturdy buildings. A man who understood the importance of a solid foundation, but he confessed that his own foundation felt like it was crumbling. "Dr. Rechard," he said, his posture slumped, "I get my 8 hours of sleep. I eat 3 square meals a day. But I still feel like I'm wading through mud from the moment I wake up. My mind feels foggy, my body is tired, and when the moment for intimacy with my wife arrives, I simply don't have the energy in the tank." His story was so poignant because it is so incredibly common and so frequently misdiagnosed. David was describing a classic case of vitamin B12 deficiency, something I encounter in countless men over the age of 60. This vitamin is the master catalyst for your body's energy production. Without adequate B12, your body simply cannot efficiently convert the food you eat into glucose, the usable fuel for your cells. It doesn't matter how healthy your diet is. Without enough B12, your entire system is forced to run on fumes. Furthermore, it plays an indispensable role in the creation of healthy red blood cells. Think of these cells as the delivery trucks for your body, tasked with carrying life-giving oxygen to your muscles, your brain, and yes, your sexual organs. When you're deficient in B12, you produce fewer, larger, and less efficient red blood cells, a condition that slows everything down. Your physical stamina evaporates, your mental focus becomes dull and scattered, and you can begin to feel a profound sense of disconnection from the very activities and people that used to bring you joy. And here is the critical catch for men over 60. As you age, your stomach produces less hydrochloric acid and a protein called intrinsic factor. Both are essential for separating B12 from the protein in your food and absorbing it into your bloodstream. This means that even if you're consuming plenty of B12-rich foods like meat, fish, eggs, or dairy, your body may no longer be able to effectively absorb it. This is why so many older men feel perpetually tired, weak, or mentally foggy, even when their standard blood tests seem to come back normal. The solution can be remarkably straightforward. For many, increasing B12 through a high-quality oral supplement can make a world of difference. In some cases of severe malabsorption, doctor-administered injections may be necessary to bypass the digestive system entirely. I have witnessed men go from nodding off in their armchairs every afternoon to actively planning hiking trips, laughing freely, and being fully, vibrantly present with their families and loved ones, all from correcting a simple nutrient deficiency they never even knew they had. But energy, as crucial as it is, still isn't the complete picture. Your body also requires a guardian, a protector, something that strengthens the very blood vessels we've been discussing, reduces systemic inflammation, and supports the hormones that are the bedrock of masculinity. This brings us to our third, vital nutrient. It's often nicknamed the fertility vitamin, but its influence extends far, far beyond reproduction. In fact, without it, your body's ability to manage circulation and produce testosterone may already be compromised. Let's take a closer look. I recall a conversation with Michael, a 70-year-old retired pilot who came into my office with a look of deep confusion and frustration. "Doc," he began, "I do everything by the book. I eat clean. I exercise 5 days a week. But lately I just feel off. My drive is gone. I don't bounce back from anything the way I used to. And if I'm being honest, I just don't feel like a man anymore." That last part hit me hard, because Michael was the furthest thing from lazy or careless. He was disciplined, proud, and deeply committed to his health. But he was missing a crucial piece of the puzzle that even many doctors overlook. Vitamin. Vitamin E is not just for your skin or for fertility. It is a biological powerhouse when it comes to male health, especially over the age of 60. This vitamin is a potent, fat-soluble antioxidant. That means its primary job is to fight and neutralize the oxidative stress and chronic inflammation that silently wage war on your body as you age. Think of oxidative stress as a form of biological rust. It damages the delicate cells lining your blood vessels, attacks your hormone-producing glands, and degrades your reproductive organs. As this inflammation quietly builds up over the years, blood flow becomes weaker. Testosterone production can begin to dip, and your energy levels inevitably crash. It's not a sudden event. It's a slow, steady erosion, and without even realizing it, men like Michael begin to lose their vital edge. What makes vitamin E so indispensable is its dual-action role. It helps maintain the flexibility and integrity of your blood vessels, ensuring that the circulation boosted by vitamin D can flow smoothly. An erection is fundamentally a hydraulic event, a matter of blood flow, and when that flow is impeded by stiff, inflamed vessels, performance will inevitably suffer. But that is not all. Vitamin E also plays a crucial role in protecting the Leydig cells in the testes, which are responsible for producing testosterone. After 60, maintaining healthy testosterone levels is more critical than ever. Low testosterone doesn't just impact your libido, it profoundly affects your mood, your motivation, your ability to maintain muscle mass, and your overall sense of purpose and well-being. The good news is that restoring vitamin E levels can be done naturally and easily. Foods like almonds, sunflower seeds, hazelnuts, and leafy greens such as spinach or Swiss chard are excellent sources. Using high-quality olive oil in your cooking is another fantastic way to incorporate it. If needed, a high-quality natural vitamin E supplement, one that contains a mix of tocopherols and tocotrienols, can help fill any dietary gaps. I've had the pleasure of seeing men like Michael return months later with a renewed light in their eyes, feeling mentally sharper, physically stronger, and more deeply connected to their own lives again. Now you might be starting to wonder what happens when you combine these three distinct vitamins. Is there a way they interact? A way they work together to amplify the results? The answer is a resounding yes. In fact, when used correctly and consistently, these three nutrients can create a powerful synergistic ripple effect that transforms not just your energy or your erections, but your entire experience of aging. Let's explore how. Years ago, I had a patient named Walter. He was 68, a retired high school football coach who had always taken immense pride in his physical vitality and sharp mind. He came to me having already done some of his own research. He'd been taking vitamin D for a while, then he added B12, after reading about its effects on energy. And later, he started including vitamin E after I explained its role in hormonal support. But he was taking them sporadically, with different brands of varying quality. It wasn't until he committed to taking all three consistently, in their proper forms, and at the right dosages, that something truly clicked. I remember him walking into my office one afternoon, grinning from ear to ear. He clapped me on the shoulder and said, "Doc, I don't know what formula you unlocked, but I feel like I've got a brand new engine under the hood." That is the power of synergy. These vitamins don't just work on parallel tracks. They support, enable, and amplify one another. Think of it like building a robust, high-performance system. Vitamin D is the architect, redesigning the circulatory pathways by boosting nitric oxide to widen the roads. Vitamin B12 is the power plant and the workforce, generating the cellular energy and producing the red blood cell trucks needed to transport oxygen along those newly widened roads. And vitamin E is the maintenance crew and security detail, protecting the roads themselves, the blood vessels from oxidative damage and inflammation, all while helping to regulate the testosterone that acts as the core fuel for the entire operation. Alone, each one plays a valuable part, but together, they create what I like to call the vitality triangle. Circulation, energy, and hormonal support, all working in perfect harmony. This synergy is especially critical as you age, because your body's systems no longer have the resilience they once did. Nutrient absorption becomes less efficient, inflammation is more prone to becoming chronic, and recovery from any stressor takes longer. One missing piece of this triangle can throw the entire system off balance. But when you bring these three essential nutrients together consistently, your body begins to remember how it was designed to feel. You may find yourself waking up feeling more genuinely rested, thinking with greater clarity throughout the day, and responding with more confidence when it truly counts, not just physically but emotionally as well. That quiet sense of self-assurance begins to return, and that is something no prescription on earth can manufacture. Walter was not an exception. He was the rule. I have seen this same profound transformation in countless men who decide to take their micronutrient health seriously and build it into the foundation of their daily lives. But here's the crucial point. Most men who try this never experience these benefits. Why? Because they are unknowingly making a common and very costly mistake that effectively cancels out the very progress they are trying so hard to make. And if you're not careful, you might be doing it too. Let's talk about that critical mistake. And more importantly, how to fix it. One morning, a gentleman named Gerald, a 74-year-old retired engineer, walked into my office. He was thoughtful, well-read, and he carried a plastic grocery bag filled with various supplement bottles. He spread them out on my desk with a sigh. "Dr. Rechard," he said, the disappointment evident in his voice. "I've been taking all of these for months. Vitamin D, B12, E, you name it. But I still feel tired, my thinking is foggy, and honestly, nothing is improving in the bedroom department. I could hear the frustration of a man who was putting in the effort but seeing no return on his investment. The single biggest mistake I see men make, especially those over 60, is assuming that just taking a supplement is enough. They go to a big box store or click on a cheap online ad and buy mass-produced synthetic versions, believing that a vitamin is a vitamin. This could not be further from the truth. The form, the quality, and the dosage of a nutrient determine whether your body can actually absorb and utilize it, or whether it simply passes through your system as expensive waste. Take vitamin B12, for example. Most generic, inexpensive brands use a synthetic form called cyanocobalamin. This form contains a cyanide molecule that your body must first remove and then convert into a usable form. Many older men, with their less efficient metabolic systems, simply cannot perform this conversion effectively. What you want to look for instead is methylcobalamin, the active coenzyme form that your body can use immediately. No conversion required. The same principle applies to vitamin D. Vitamin D2 is often used in fortified foods and cheaper supplements, but research has consistently shown that vitamin D3 is far more potent and effective at raising and maintaining levels in the blood. With vitamin E, most synthetic versions, labeled DL-alpha tocopherol, contain only one of 8 compounds found in natural vitamin E. This synthetic form can lack the full-spectrum antioxidant and protective benefits your body needs to truly support hormonal health and circulation. You want to look for a natural form, often labeled D-alpha tocopherol, and ideally one that includes mixed tocopherols. Another common mistake is inconsistency. Taking a vitamin once or twice a week, whenever you happen to remember, is not going to create lasting physiological change. Your body is a creature of rhythm and habit. It requires a steady, daily supply of these essential nutrients to rebuild energy pathways, restore blood flow, and balance hormones. This is about creating a solid daily foundation, not chasing a quick temporary fix. When I helped Gerald switch from his bag of low-grade supplements to higher-quality, bioavailable forms, and got him on a consistent daily schedule, the difference was dramatic. Within a month, he reported sleeping more deeply, waking up with more energy, and in his own words, feeling like a man again. That transformation didn't come from trying harder. It came from doing it right. Now that you understand what works, why it works, and what to avoid, the next logical step is to put it all together. You might be wondering, how do I actually make this a part of my daily life without it becoming another complicated chore? That's exactly what we'll cover next. Let's build a simple, realistic routine that any man can follow to support his energy, performance, and vitality every single day. When I work with men in their golden years, one of the first things they often ask me, usually with a mixture of hope and weary skepticism, is, "Doc, just tell me what to do each day. I don't need anything fancy or complicated. I just need something that actually works." I have the deepest respect for that question, because at this stage of life most men are done with fads and gimmicks. They crave consistency, simplicity, and a clear plan that helps them feel strong and capable again. So, let me tell you about Frank, a 66-year-old former carpenter who came to me after months of struggling with low energy, restless sleep, and a fading sense of confidence in the bedroom. We didn't need to overhaul his entire life. Instead, we built a simple but powerful daily routine centered around the very vitamins we've been discussing, and it changed everything for him. Here is what that routine looked like. Each morning upon waking, Frank would start his day with a full glass of water to rehydrate his system. With his breakfast, which he made sure was rich in protein and healthy fats to stabilize his blood sugar, he would take his vitamin B12 supplement. This timing helps kickstart energy metabolism for the day ahead. After breakfast, he made a new habit of taking a brisk 15-minute walk outside. This wasn't a grueling workout. It was simply about moving his body and, most importantly, exposing his arms and face to the morning sunlight to stimulate his body's natural vitamin D production. On cloudy days or during the winter months, he would take his high-quality vitamin D3 supplement with his first meal, ensuring he took it with a source of fat, like eggs or avocado, to maximize absorption. His daily vitamin E came naturally from his diet. He'd have a small handful of almonds or sunflower seeds as a mid-afternoon snack, and he made a point to drizzle a good quality olive oil over his lunchtime salad. That was the core of it. No dozen pills, no complicated schedules, no extreme diets. Just a few small, deliberate, and consistent choices. Within weeks, Frank told me he had more sustained energy to play with his grandchildren in the yard. He felt a renewed interest in being close and intimate with his wife, and he spoke of a quiet, steady sense of confidence that had silently slipped away over the years. He felt like himself again. Not a magically younger version, but a stronger, more grounded, more vital version of the man he already was. The truth is, you don't need a medicine cabinet full of bottles or a routine that adds stress to your life. What you need is a steady rhythm. You need the right nutrients, in the right forms, taken consistently. And you need a mindset that says, I am still the master of my own health. Because you are. As we begin to wrap up our time together, I want to leave you with one final message, something that every man over 60 deserves to hear but rarely does. If you have ever looked in the mirror and wondered if it's too late to feel strong, to feel desired, to feel fully and vibrantly alive again, the answer might just surprise you. If you've made it this far into our conversation, I want to take a moment to speak to you, not just as a doctor, but as a man who has spent over 3 decades sitting across from men just like you. Men who have lived full and meaningful lives. Men who have worked hard, raised families, built legacies. Men who now find themselves grappling with that quiet, nagging question. Why doesn't my body feel like it used to? Please know that asking that question is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you are still fighting. It's a sign that you are still searching for the strength, the energy, and the connection that make this life feel rich and worthwhile. And for that, you have my deepest respect. We've talked about 3 essential keys today. Vitamin D, the circulation spark plug that helps reopen your blood vessels and restore healthy blood flow where it matters most. Vitamin B12, the energy generator that fuels your brain, your muscles, and your stamina. And vitamin E, the guardian that protects your cardiovascular system, supports your natural testosterone, and keeps your body's engine running cleanly. But the real power doesn't come from simply knowing their names. It comes from the decision to build them into the fabric of your life. The profound truth is that these nutrients don't just support your physical body, they support your identity. They support your confidence. They support your presence in your relationships and your ability to wake up in the morning feeling like yourself again. I have seen it happen too many times to ever doubt it. I have watched men who were utterly convinced their best years were far behind them discover a second wind they never thought possible, a change that rippled out into every corner of their lives. So, what happens now? That, my friend, is entirely up to you. You can take what you've heard today and let it sit on a mental shelf, or you can choose to act on it. You can choose to finally give your body what it has been quietly asking for. You can choose to take that walk in the morning, to take that supplement with intention, to say yes to your health and to your future. Because here is what I know with Absolute certainty. It is not too late, it is not even close. You still have time to feel stronger. You still have time to reconnect. And you still have time to be the man you know you are, fully, boldly, and without apology. You have already taken the most important step just by being here and seeking this knowledge. Now it's time to take the next one. If this video spoke to you, if it helped you, or if it simply gave you something valuable to think about, please don't keep it to yourself. Go ahead and hit that like button so we know that this content is making a real difference. Share it with a friend, a brother, or anyone you care about who needs to hear this empowering message. And if you have a moment, please leave a comment below. Let me know what resonated with you the most, or tell me what topic you'd like me to cover in a future video. Your voice and your experience help shape this entire community. You are not just watching a video. You are becoming part of a movement of men who are choosing to age with strength and dignity. And I am truly honored to have you here. Now go take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.